Hey guys, so these are the final pieces of my Halloween costume that I'll show you. And this will be for the hood and the cape. And what you'll need for this project is your fabric, pins, scissors, and your sewing machine. So the first thing you want to do is cut out your pieces for your cape. For this one I didn't use a pattern, I just figured out the measurements that I wanted and just used the measuring tape to kind of mark it out on the fabric and use the chalk to trace the line out. After cutting out the back piece of the cape, I used it for a template for the front pieces. I did cut on the fold and just cut down the line to make it into two pieces. Taking a scrap piece of fabric, I folded it into fourths and then measured out a 2 by 10 inch rectangle. When I unfolded it, it's about 20 inches by 2 inches. Now I am taking the three pieces and pinning them together. I will be sewing along these seams using a zigzag stitch and then using a straight stitch about a half an inch from the edge. Taking the side edge of the cape, I folded it in about a quarter of an inch and then folded it again and then sewed along that line. Doing the same thing for the bottom of the cape, making it about half an inch thick. At this point, I tried the cape on to see how it fit. I noticed that it needed to be taken in a little bit around the shoulders. So I took a piece of chalk and marked it on the cape and then just sewed along that line, making sure that I cleaned up the line a little bit before I sewed. After sewing along this line, I just trimmed off any excess off the top of it. Now taking the piece that I'll use around my neck, I folded it on the ends and then sewed along that line. I folded over and ironed out the edges of the neck piece. Then I pinned them to the top of the cape, making sure that I left a little extra on the ends so that the pieces can be pinned together once the cape is done. This is what the cape looked like when it was finished. Now moving on to the hood. I used a jacket that had a hood that I liked and just traced it, making sure that it was oversized because I wanted the hood to be really big. After sewing up the back of the hood, I placed the two pieces together at the bottom, making sure that the right sides were facing each other, and then sewing along that line. After that, I just top stitched really close to the edge of that line that I just sewed. Using this green fabric, I used it as like a bias tape and then just sewed it along the open edge of the hood. And now you're finished.